All right, it is 105.9 The X, Trav hanging out, and we have had a busy concert season in the Berg. Summer almost over. Doesn't matter. We still have some of our biggest shows of the year coming to the Berg in just a few weeks, and a huge one. Can't wait for it. Star Lake Pavilion, September 9th. Shine Down, going to be in town with Jelly Roll and others here to talk about that and everything. These guys have been so busy the last, 2 years, it seems like. It's Barry Kerch of Shine Down. Barry, dude, I appreciate you taking some time. There's people that are busy in music right now. Everyone's trying to rebound from the pandemic, but I feel like you guys might be the busiest group of people I've seen anywhere in 2022. So I appreciate the time. Have you found time to rest in 2022 so far?
I don't know what this rest thing is you talk about. We stay busy, but you know what? I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. This is what we do. And yeah, everybody's playing catch up from the pandemic. We were kind of lucky during that because it was time for us to write a record anyway. But, Shinedown's known for working hard. That's what we do. We tour hard and get out there for the fans. So you're the program for it or not, and we definitely are.
Yeah, it seems like you keep your timelines. That's for sure. There's no stretching it out. I mean, you guys have been playing shows all over the place with a variety of different people. You've been doing your own tours and you've been doing festivals, and you got this new iteration that you're doing in the fall here. But in the middle of all this, you guys decided to drop a brand new album, as you said, Planet Zero. Lots of great reviews. What's it like? You guys have such an expansive catalog, and your fans love you for all the different eras of music that you guys have gone through in the last 18, 20 years. But what's it like incorporating, a lot of that new work into the shows gradually? Like, how do you guys go about that?
It's funny. It gets more and more difficult every time you release a record because, we release 2, 3, sometimes 4 songs off of a record. And then you have your fan favorites that maybe even didn't get released to radio. And everybody wants to hear those, but you only have so much time. You can only play about 19, 20 songs in a set without killing our singers and or going over time, especially in these outdoor venues. If you go past the 11 o'clock curfew, they start charging you a fortune. But it gets hard. So you want to, selfishly, you want to pick your favorites and play those. And sometimes they're not necessarily the fan favorite or the single. We're working on it. We play Planet Zero. We've been doing Daylight, and then Saints of Violence, which was the track when it first got put up on iTunes. I don't know what we're going to do on this next run. I think we'll probably get a couple others in there from the record, but at the same time, you got to play the songs the fans know the best and really want to hear. We're never not going to be able to play a second chance. You got to do it. So it becomes harder.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I've been trying to keep up. We get a lot of shows in Pittsburgh, and you read about shows and tours and stuff. And the process of putting a set list together for a show, I feel like has changed. Like, some artists, they want to get those big hits out of the way in the first 4 or 5, and then it's a new experience from there. So it is interesting to see how, different bands are stacking up and how you guys are navigating as well, especially with the large catalog.
Some bands get out there and just play whatever's on their latest record and maybe a couple songs. And that's fine. That's their prerogative, but we want the crowd to really feel that they're part of the show and getting, it costs a lot of money and time to go to a concert these days. We want to give as much bang for the buck as we can. And we kind of pride ourselves on putting on a hell of a show and really involving that audience so that, they have an escape. That's our job. We're there to entertain for that couple hours, and people plan a whole month or a whole, season to go see that show and save up their money and have to babysitters, all that stuff. We're going to put on the show.
I love that. You ain't kidding. At first, whenever things started opening back up, I think people were hesitant, but they're definitely investing in shows again. That's what we could see here. That's for sure. In previous, chats you've done over the years, you've talked about the process that you and the crew go through to put together full albums that, it's not just a collection of songs. It works as a whole, start to finish, right? So Planet Zero, this new album, it doesn't focus on 1 or 2 things. I mean, you guys cover a lot of different things that, every type of person has experienced over the last 22, 24 months. So I feel like that's more difficult whenever you're not going off a central theme or 2, you have many. So what's that process like, and how do you go through, how do we attack it, why, and when?
I think that's kind of the reason Shinedown connects so well with their audience is because we only write things that are true, that we've lived through or that we've seen. And there was no getting away from it in that pandemic time of seeing everything that was going on, good and bad. And we were living it. So when it comes to writing the lyrics, that's kind of, we pull from what we know. And everything was so in your face at that time, the divisiveness and the social media and all those things, that we were trying to, okay, we got to figure out how to write about this. But also, as Shinedown does, we try to put a positive twist at the end of it, going, everything's going to be okay. And that's kind of what this record encapsulates is, hey, we're headed down a really dangerous path of division between everybody. We need to really look at each other and realize you and I might not agree on everything, but damn it, we're humans. We can still get along and still be cordial to each other. And that's kind of disappearing lately in our world and in our society, especially here in the States. And it's really tough to watch. So that's kind of what this album is just a reflection of that time period that we went through and are still continuing to go through. And that's what Shinedown does. I mean, you listen to even back to Leave a Whisper, our first record, those are true stories. Every one of those was lived through or felt or seen. And that's who Shinedown is. We can't, some bands create different universes and that's what they write about, almost like they're writing a fantasy novel. And that's cool. And that's what their music is. That's just not us.
Yeah, I think you hit it perfectly, where I think a lot of people experienced it, whether it was professionally or personally, those relationships being frayed for any of those reasons. And it's definitely an odd time. And I don't think anybody's been able to hide from that issue in particular. So I'm glad you brought that to light. You mentioned Daylight, which you guys have been incorporating into your shows, just went #1, which gives you guys 19 on that particular chart alone. So congratulations. So you guys are no stranger to that spot. I think you and 3 Days Grace keep trading the crown for the most at that particular position. But what made you guys lead? What made you guys lead with that one for radio, and how people responded to it as you guys throw it on the road?
We knew eventually when the song was written, we were like, yeah, this is going to have to be a single. And instead of waiting and putting out a couple of rockers, we're like, why don't we just go for it? Because this is the type of song that, at maybe rock and alternative radio goes there. And it, obviously it's done well, which is awesome. Thank you to everyone out there, but might not stay at that #1 spot very long because it is a lighter ballady type song. But we're also trying to cross that over. And when you're crossing over to, and this is probably boring all the fans because it's business talk, but that's the truth. When you're crossing that over to maybe the Hot AC and the pop charts, that is a journey and that takes forever. Yeah. So once this gets out there, that's still going to be being worked as we release another rock song eventually to rock radio to our rock fans. So it's kind of, that's the business side of the industry. And that's why we went with Daylight. As far as the reception, and it's been really good. I mean, I remember when we played it before the record was released and before that song was a single, we kind of did it at a few shows just to see the reaction, and it was instant. And I think it's because Brent's voice on that song is so epic. He just really hits some cool notes that give you chills when he hits them, especially coming out of the verse into the chorus. So it's reacting well. Hopefully it continues to be.
Heck yeah, we're looking forward to see it in Pittsburgh in just a few weeks. It's gonna be a fun one. You mentioned the business side of things. People ask me about that stuff all the time. I wish I could give them the ins and outs of the journeys that songs go through and the charts and how that goes. But you guys are going out now on this next run with somebody that knows a lot, is experiencing a lot of multi-genre success in Jelly Roll. Transparent with you, I have a background here at the X with rock radio. I also have a background with country radio, and we're seeing Jelly Roll be a huge part of all things that I'm doing right now. So, what's the early interactions been like with him, and what's it just like bringing him out with you guys, introducing him to your audience, which is so dedicated?
I think it's kind of cool because he does cross genre lines from hip hop to rock to country, and is doing extremely well in the country. And it's because he just doesn't care. He just writes songs. That's what he loves to do. And he's an independent artist, so he's kind of has control over his own vision. That being said, we've done a handful of shows with them so far, last year and then a little bit this year, some festivals and things. He's a sweetheart. For such a rough, tough looking guy with face tattoos and whatnot, he's an absolute sweetheart and a really smart businessman. He's doing some pretty special things, and we're excited to have him with us. We're excited to introduce his crowd to us and vice versa. He puts on one hell of a show. He's got a great band. So it's fun, and it's neat to see somebody like that who I look at as not only a talented artist and I like his songs, but just see somebody in this genre out there being successful, because rock is not to bag on all the bands out there, but I haven't heard a lot of new, fresh things. I just haven't recently. And that's maybe me getting older or whatnot, but I just haven't. And he's one of the ones that I went, oh, this is new and this is fresh and this is cool and it's something different. And that's what we always try to do as a band when we have artists opening for us. We try to bring out something that is interesting, not only to us, but would be to the fans. And I think this is going to be a great run.
Yeah, I've said there's a lot of people that are looking forward to you guys coming with him for a variety of reasons. So it's going to be fun. Just two more for you if you got time.
Of course.
2022 has been it's been a revival year for people getting out, but it's also been a crazy year, a sad year for the drumming profession. You look at some of the legendary people that we've lost, like the Charlie Watts of the world and the Taylor Hawkins of the world. I don't know if you had a personal relationship with those guys, but those are guys that were very influential. And there's a lot of people, there's probably a lot of new drummers out there that look to you as their generation's influence. So, obviously we've done a lot of reflection about what Charlie and Taylor meant to the profession, but, people always ask us in radio, like, what does it take? I'm a drummer for a local band. So people that look to you in the profession as the new era of influence, what do you say to them? And how do you reflect after what's been a crazy year with, just the passing of some of these guys?
Those two, I did not have a personal relationship with either of them, but I'm a fan of both, especially Charlie Watts, because I'm a huge Stones fan. I was less Beatles and more Stones. And I love his playing because he played for the song. He never did anything fancy. It was just the song, but he held it down. He was the consummate drummer in that respect. I like drummers personally that play for the song. It's not about how many notes you can play. It's not about how flashy you are. It's not about look at me, because it's not about you. You're the support guy in the band. Your job is to hold it down for the singers and the people that are bringing the melody. Your support. That's what a drummer's job is. And if you get into it thinking you're supposed to be the front man, you should have picked up a guitar and started singing. That's not what drums do unless you're in a marching band. Then it's kind of in the forefront, which I highly recommend too.
Sure.
Taylor, it almost pisses me off because he was a light to everybody. You never saw that dude not smiling. And again, I didn't know him personally, but everybody that talks about him just said he was a light in the room. And you went out by doing the wrong stuff. So number one, keep yourself clean. The drugs out there nowadays aren't drugs you want to mess with fentanyl getting mixed into stuff. Just don't do it. Go drink a beer, hang out with your friends. That's it. This isn't a PSA, but to be honest, stay away from that stuff. And at the same time, it only hurts your career. It lessens your career. I've seen a lot of bands come and go because they couldn't keep their stuff under control. And it almost happened to us. There's no secret that our singer wasn't a horrible addict for a very long time. And it almost broke this band. And it's better now that everyone's sober and hanging out. And then when it comes to drums, learn as much as you can and never stop learning. All genres of music. Try to get good at them. You're always going to have your favorite, whether you're a rock guy or a jazz guy or hip hop or whatever. Get good at that because that's what you love and that's your passion. But introduce yourself to the other stuff. Never stop learning. And if you think you've gotten good enough, you're like, man, why can't I get a gig? I've done everything. You haven't done enough. It's constant work. Like any profession, it's ever changing. And then you got to learn the business side. You get burnt real easy at the business side. Remember, you're the backup dude. Your job is to hold it down for the band. You can be flashy, you can do cool stuff, but remember, it's all about that song. The song is number one. That's it.
Yep. It's a meat grind. All parts of music, whether you're a drummer like yourself, you're in radio, you're in promotions, the reps that push the songs, it's amazing. It's a meat grinder, and it takes a long time. So it's
hard work.
Yeah. And you said it's ever changing. You ain't kidding. The process is never the same. Not for everybody. Finally, a light one here, Barrett, get you out of here. You always described yourself as a coffee and beer guy. This is you helping me.
Okay.
Teach me. I need to do two things in my adult life. I need to learn how to enjoy black coffee, and I need to learn how to enjoy special. Like I'm not an IPA guy. Like pumpkin beers coming out, everyone's like, bro, I'm not into it. Like I feel like those two things really hinder my life.
Well, here's the thing. I am not a beer or coffee snob. And you find those people out there that are beer and coffee snobs. If you like Miller High Life and that's your beer of choice, drink it.
Yo, I'm glad that's been the beer choice at the house since I don't know how old. So
it's a great
my family, wherever they're at, they're going to be like, yeah, that's our guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about what you like. Who cares? You know, I personally like a little bit more of the IPAs and the bitterness of that. But if I got done mowing the lawn, I'm having a Miller High Life or a nice cold Budweiser. That's what I'm having. And then it's same with coffee. You know, black coffee can be really bitter. You know, I have my own coffee company. Everybody out there, shameless plug, Spartan Brews. Go
That's
online,
what I was getting
check out
to.
Spartan Brews. We have some great coffees. That being said, find a roast that you like. You know, some can be really bitter, some can be really light. Find that one and then try there. And I think an easy way to maybe transition into drinking black coffee, because I like my coffee black. I also like a nice latte or cappuccino when I'm home, and I can make it myself because I used to work in coffee shops in college. I love cold brew. Cold brew isn't as bitter. So if you can drink that and start drinking that and that you like that, then you can kind of make that transition.
There you go. That's the advice I needed. Barry, I appreciate it, man. Hey, we're so excited to see you and the crew when you guys come to Pittsburgh in a few weeks. I think a lot of people are already on their way. What's the elevator pitch? If someone's on the fence and they're listening to this right now, maybe I'll go to that show. What's the elevator pitch? Why do we got to get them out to Star Lake to see you guys in a few weeks?
We're putting on a big show. If you like fire, lights, fireworks, explosions, great songs, great bands, it's a show you don't want to miss. It's going to be something you haven't seen in an amphitheater before. That's for sure.
Well, I didn't need a selling point, but I got one more. I appreciate it, man. You've been awesome. Me and the whole X crew, pumped to have you guys in town. Looking forward to seeing you guys just blow it up out there.